I was shooting I was shooting a mini series. I was shooting a Lifetime Television for Women mini series in Scottsdale, Arizona, and I was there for like months for this thing, and I got like, oh, there's this pilot for FX, and there's a role in it. You could record it like in a day or whatever, like wherever you are, and I was like, yeah, no, I'll do that, sure. So I got, so they sent me the script, and I read it in my hotel, and I was like, no one's ever picking this up. Like, I was like, it is so dirty. Like, it's like the dirtiest thing I've ever read. And like, Archer was obviously, it was a really long time ago. It was a really long time ago when we even got the pilot script. That's not even
Yeah.
counting like when an audience saw episode one, like all 5 people watching episode, just kidding. But like the first episode that aired, like the time between the pilot and that airing of episode one, like Casey, like how long was that?
Over a year for
Over a
sure.
year. Right.
Yeah.
So Archer was on for 14 seasons with breaks and stuff. And then you think like a year before that, I mean, just like, so like, anyway, the point I'm making is that like, let's say 16 years ago, like
Mhm.
now it's so insane to think about what isn't on television. Like everything's on television, but like FX was for like basic cable, like pushing the envelope in every way possible. And our show is one of the I believe one of those shows that did that. I mean, you had
Mhm.
Sunny, and then you had like their hour-long dramas, which were doing. I think they were the first network to have like boobs on TV or a butt or something on like Rescue 911. I remember this because I think I knew the actress whose boobs or butt it was. Anyway, but like our show is really groundbreaking in that way, and I mean, we could get away with even more because it was animated. So that all being said, that's why I was thinking not because I liked it. So I feel like anything I believed in didn't get picked up, and it was so dirty that I just didn't think it would ever be able to be on the air at all. So that's my reasoning for saying this. And then of course I'm like, well, yeah, like an hour of work on a day off where I'm just like recording, like, sure, of course I'll do that. And it was really
Yeah.
funny. And I think my character, this part I cannot remember if my character, I know they've told me that my character was only supposed to be in the first episode, and I don't remember if I knew that or not at the time, or if they had already changed it by the time that you guys offered me the role. But yeah, it was maybe like a one-time thing, but the character of Cheryl in the pilot episode, it was so vastly different than the character that she turned into. Like
Yeah.
in the first episode, I was like the secretary. I had slept with Archer. I was pining for him. I was crying because he didn't want to be with me. There was some kind of like takeaway duck, like aluminum foil duck,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
leftovers I got from our like lunch together where he's like, no, we're not gonna be together or whatever. That's like my memory of it. So then the change, like evolution of this character is so major.
So huge. Yeah, I'd
Yeah.
always heard the same thing that your character wasn't necessarily going to stick around, but then
Yeah.
it was such a great character. Casey, do you know the story there?
I think just first that Judy would do it. excited Adam.
Right.
And then after the first recording session, he's just like, this character has to stay. Like, she's not going anywhere, And I think that happened to almost everybody. Like Amber, you've been saying the original description of Pam is quite different than what she turned into.
Yeah.
Krieger wasn't even supposed to talk.
Yeah.
He doesn't for several episodes. So I think it's just about Adam getting excited about everybody that was on the show and then writing for them because he was so excited about what they were bringing to the table.
Yeah, totally. And I remember the first time I met you, Judy, was at, I think
San Diego?
Yeah, I was in San Diego. And it was the first time I met everybody, I think.
Yeah.
And you were so nice. And I was just like, how is this person so nice and so friendly? And you were like, let's hang out. Like, you were just like, I couldn't believe it. And I was sitting next to you in the signing line.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, I'm just so lucky to be on this panel with these people, and you were just so lovely.
Aw, thank
Hmm.
you. That was the panel that I think I was like just starting to date my husband, and
Really?
yeah, and it was our first Comic-Con, and I remember because I have stepkids. So at the time they were like 9 and 12 or something. And I said like, oh, I'm gonna go to Comic-Con for this animated show I do, and it's around the same time that we were gonna go to this other thing in San Diego, and like maybe we want to bring the kids. I could see if I could get passes, like whatever. And of course I want to like impress these kids. And I'm like, and Dean's like, oh, that'd be great. And then he said, well, we'll come to your panel. And I was like, I don't think they should come to the panel. Like, why don't you guys just like hang out in the hall and see all the cosplay people? And he's like, no, well, we'll come. And I was like, no, it's okay. You don't have to. It's actually like kind of a dirty show. And he was like, I let them watch The Hangover. It's fine. And I'm like, okay. And then I don't know if it was in Esquire magazine or there was like an article about Archer, and there was a picture of like my character shitting on a toilet while someone else, like Archer, was fucking someone and strangling them, or it was like there was a picture from like a screenshot of one of our.
We know it's from Skytanic. You're getting choked by Cyril, who's having sex with you, and Pam is on the toilet.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Thank you for clarifying. So my husband comes home from work and he's like, what is this? This is our show. And I'm like, yeah, that's the show I was telling. He's like, I can't bring the kids to this. And I'm like, I know, that's what I've been saying. Like it is. And it was really funny. And that was like, and I remember that was the first time I met you, Amber. And it was so funny because we never met, because none of us ever recorded together, and you guys were all in Atlanta. It was just so surreal to like be in the same room and meet all of you. And and then so our first panel, I'm sorry if I'm repeating stuff you've already done on the podcast.
No.
Like that first year at Comic-Con, I think we had this like really cute little room, and we had like 500 people, which was huge for us. And then year 2, they moved us to this like massive conference hall. We had 2,000 people who came to our panel. It was like the jump from year 1 to year 2 at San Diego Comic-Con was so overwhelming. It was like one of those moments in my career where I hope as the dementia sets in that like I remember this moment of like being backstage before they announce our characters, and like us walking up and just like seeing a room full of 2,000 people like screaming and clapping and so excited. And I was like, wow.
Yeah,
It
it was
so
so
cool.
wonderful. Yeah. And I don't know if you remember this, but it wasn't the first year because we already knew each other, but maybe it was the second or third year that we were in San Diego, and you and me and Adam like
Went to
spent the day
submarine.
together.
Oh yeah. I actually probably have pictures here from the submarine, like the trip that we went on. I remember like Adam had a spider bite on his arm, and we went to some like outdoor place and like had margaritas or something.
Yeah.
Like,
And there was like shops, like I bought like a Catholic bracelet, and we were at the Maritime Museum, which I tell people whenever they go to San Diego, they should always hit because it's very awesome.
Yeah.
That was such a lovely memory.
I know. I love when those pictures pop up on my phone, because I'm like, oh yeah, we had like a full day of like, and of course Adam drags us to a fucking submarine, like duh. Like I know him so much better now, and I'm like, yeah, no shit, we ended up in some submarine. I'm always just like, sure, I'll do whatever. And then I'm like, now I'd be like, I'm not going to a fucking submarine with you. You'll geek out over all the shit for like 9 hours, and I'll just be like,
Oh, totally. And I got nauseous because like everything was on the water, and I have terrible motion sickness, so I was just like kind of green for the rest of the day. And back then we had time to spend doing stuff because all the years after that it was like booked back to back, like no time to like have fun and hang out.
They all kind of after that second year, they all start to kind of like run together for me
Yeah.
because Comic-Con itself, the San Diego Comic-Con, really evolved and changed. And like, do you remember the year some guy, I don't know if we were next to each other, some guy like yelled at us because like Hollywood was ruining Comic-Con. He was in line to get a poster signed by us, by the way, which we are an animated show. Like, we actually had a right to be there. I'm not saying anyone does or doesn't, but I remember this guy was like, "You guys are ruining it for us. Like, this will probably be my last year I ever go." And I went every single year for like 30 years or whatever. And I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. Like, we're on an animated show. Like,
Yeah.
this is a
Yeah, I guess
perfect
that was
place for us.
around the time that it like changed from being like Comic-Con to like a fan con where it was just like it's
Yeah.
about all of entertainment and people like really fucking didn't like it. I mean, the nerds didn't
I
like
get
it.
it though, but that's like, I get it. I mean, I can't imagine if like a knitting sort of conference became like all about Hollywood or something, and like I couldn't like get in to see like the indie yarn dyers or something. Like, no, I mean, the guy had a point, and then
Yeah.
like to your point too, like after that there was no free time. It was like
Yeah.
you were up at 6 and you were like, and you were just like covered in makeup all day and just like
Yeah.
in cars and vans and just going from like outlet to outlet to outlet to outlet to outlet. I mean, it became it for us too. It became like a very different experience. And
Yeah, it
like,
wasn't as much fun.
right. And then like there was just so much security that we had to have. And like I remember some lady like sitting outside my hotel room and I'm just like, this is unsustainable.
There was
This
a
was
guy.
before we moved to the hotel.
There
Sorry,
was
what were
a
you gonna
guy.
say?
It was one of the security guys. So everybody had like we all had security, and then we would each get our own person. And it was like during the lunch break where we would go down to have lunch, and then and I was like, I have got to take a shit.
Yeah,
And this guy won't leave me alone because I woke up at 6 a.m. and I'm not used to
I
shooting
know.
before 6 a.m. So I was like, I have to get away from you. Like, please stop following me so I can go
Yeah.
to the bathroom and take a shit at Comic Con.
My, I mean, whoever was assigned to me was like, shit, please. I'm like, I feel like I don't. Yeah. Plus, you're shitting next to people that like you just signed their autograph, like you just signed their Archer poster, and you're like in there shitting. This was also before like poo spray, and like the bathrooms we would like we were just shitting wherever we could. I know, I
Whenever,
know.
wherever we could. It was terrible.
Wherever, whenever,
That's the
and like
price of success.
that, and
Hollywood.
damaged hair. Like your hair gets
True.
really damaged, and you have to start shitting wherever you can.
Oh my God, it's so funny. Okay, so you chose Elsa Questro when I asked you which episode you wanted to cover, and I was wondering why was it that episode that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I mean, okay, it's my origin story, so that is like there's always something that I always remember my character screaming, "Yes, that's right. Keep screaming your own name." That and so that line always stuck in my head as like
Hmm.
really funny, and I chose that episode because it was my origin story, and you and I have that funny bit obviously when you get kidnapped and they think it's me. And by the way, this
Hmm.
was illuminating to me because I always thought that was season 1, and it wasn't. It was season 2,
Right.
episode 10. It was like you
Yeah.
were a few years in, so I was like, holy shit. I also like it because it's the first time Archer throughout the whole series always has this weird thing for animals, and it was the first time. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like it's the first time I remember him loving an animal.
Yeah, I wrote that down too because we've talked about some other episodes where he like in the pilot he hates animals. So I was like, it's such a big thing about him, and I think this is when we first get to see him loving animals, and it's all because
Yeah,
of Babu.
because
Yeah.
of Babu the ocelot. I know. Also, I learned what an ocelot was. Also, I just thought like it was so fun to rewatch it because there were so many things that I forgot even happened in that episode, and it's so funny. I laughed out loud several times, and I also made a note that when it ended, I was laughing out loud.
Yeah.
Like out loud, not just like
Totally. Like,
LOLing.
it's very funny. Like,
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
very funny episode. I was like, man, this episode really is like one of the funniest episodes I can remember.
I know,
Um,
and I also love episodes where we're all together, and that's one
yeah.
of them. I mean, you're not, but then you are at the end, but it's like I guess just geographically we're closer. Like so many times, like Archer and Lana are like in Fiji or Berlin or something. You know what I mean? And like we're
Yeah.
all kind of, but like in this one, we're all like together, working together towards one thing.
I'm Amber Nash, the voice of your favorite HR nightmare, Pam Hoovy. We're doing an Archer rewatch podcast because I don't have a job anymore. This season, each episode is hosted by me and a guest co-host from the main cast. We will be breaking down fan and cast favorite episodes out of order, so get used to it. Welcome to Rephrasing. I'm going to quickly read the synopsis from
Okay.
the Archer Wiki just to remind everybody in case they haven't watched the episode. Elsa Questro is the 10th episode of the second season and the 20th episode overall of Archer. It originally aired on March 31st, 2011. When Pam is kidnapped, mistaken for Cheryl Carroll, Isis discovers that Cheryl Carroll is really an heir to the billion-dollar empire and is being hunted by masked gunmen. Mallory offers Cheryl Carroll Isis as her personal bodyguard service in exchange for financial compensation. Meanwhile, Archer and Ray attempt to rescue Pam while everyone else weighs the dollar value of her life.
the the stunned silence when you take your shirt off at the very end of the episode is priceless. Priceless.
So good.
Like, and you have that
we've
back
never
tattoo.
seen.
And
Yeah, we've never seen her nipples, but I can only imagine that they're pierced, right? I mean, I
yeah,
feel like that's
I
Pam's
think
thing.
yes, I think so. And yeah, the back tattoo, just like all of it is so. I was like, oh my God, is she gonna punch Mallory in the face? I was like, there's no way she punches Mallory in the face, but like maybe she didn't. I don't remember because it was so long ago.
Yeah, it's funny because rewatching it, this is also one of my very favorite episodes, and I feel like it's because it's the first, I feel like this is the episode where Pam really like comes into her own, and people after
Yes.
this episode are like,
Oh,
oh, okay, Pam's like formidable
not
and a
yeah,
bit part of the main cast, you know?
not to be fucked with.
Yeah, yeah. I also love that in the very beginning, Pam and Cheryl are walking from the subway to work together, which I just think is so cute.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
it's
they're
just
like
so
talking
cute.
about their nights, like that. This like their water cooler talk. I
Mm-hmm.
know, and I was like, oh, they're friends. And I mean, I didn't go back and watch like everything leading up to it, but I was like, oh, I feel like this is such a yeah. Like they're walking to work, they like meet up probably at some I don't know like some platform, and that I mean like the whole thing is just so. It's really charming. It feels very
Mm-hmm.
Archer to me, like
Totally.
and it's still ISIS, which is funny to me because I remember when ISIS stole our name of our spy agency and we had to change it, which, like, hello, cease and desist much? Like, I don't understand what the fuck, guys. But anyway, yeah, that was
Yeah.
also when we were like, I was like, oh God, that was an ISIS season, right?
Yeah,
Do
totally.
you
Because when
remember
did
there
that
was
happen?
I don't know, but I remember very vividly being at a New York Comic Con panel when someone was like, "What are you gonna do now that there's really an ISIS?" And I think like Matt Thompson was like, "We have to change the name of the spy agency." And it was like, "What are you changing it to?" And John Benjamin goes, "AIDS." And I was like, "Oh my God."
Oh God, that's so funny. Also, this was the episode. There's so many great lines in here that are like become fan favorite lines. Mopeds are fun, but you don't want your
Oh
buddies to see you riding one.
yeah, yeah,
So good.
I
I
know.
mean, it's mean, but it was very
It's
funny.
mean. I know. I'd forgotten that was in an episode. I was like, ooh. I mean, there's a couple of things in there, like the dwarf thing. I'm like, can't believe I said that. Can't believe I was okay with that. But I'm like, you just like, yeah.
Yeah,
It was a long time ago.
yeah. It's a different time. It was a
It
different time.
was
It's
a different
2011.
time. It
You could
was
do anything in
holy
2011.
buckets.
Um, And then Pam says, I thought he meant that I was fuel efficient, which I thought was a really, really great comeback. I only had 10 beers.
Yeah. And you were like carrying a roadie.
Classic. So great. And so this is because you said this is your origin story. I mean, this is when we find out after all this time, after 20 episodes, that you're a tunt.
I know.
And it changes everything. So did you know this was coming? Did they tell you, or did you just find out when you got the script?
I muted myself for my sneeze. I think I did. I can't remember. I can't remember if they told me or if I just found out when I read the script. Probably I just found out when I read the script, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I was talking about this on another episode where especially when we were doing like the coma seasons, before we would start recording, Adam would call us if something big was going to happen and let us know like what this season was going to be. And I feel like sometimes when big things would happen in the early seasons, he would call us and let us know, or email us and let us know that something was coming before we got the script. But it's just because I wonder how long he'd been thinking about it, because then it completely changes the character, and then he can do so much more stuff with you.
Yeah.
With Cheryl. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like he might have, or I might have known, but I don't. Yeah, like it was a long time ago. Yeah, no, I don't know. But sure, yes. I mean, I know we're talking about this episode, but there was another episode that I loved. I wonder if someone's done it, the elevator one.
Oh, yeah. No. Nobody's done it yet. That's such a good one.
Maybe I can come back and do that one
yes.
if no one else wants to.
Oh, we'd love to. That was later, right? Was that like...
Yeah.
Yeah. Season 8 or... No, season...
I think
someone's not in that one. Who?
I think it's season 6 because I think it's after Vice.
Okay.
Because Milton's in it, and Milton is after Vice. And then season 7 is when we go to LA. So I think it must be season 6.
Okay. Who was not in it though?
Mallory wasn't in the elevator with us.
Right. She shows up at the very end and is like, what's going on? Yeah. Okay. But anyway.
The name of the episode is Vision Quest, because at the end she's like, we were going to watch Vision Quest.
That's so funny. You mentioned earlier that this is where we find out that Archer loves animals so much, and when he's off screen and he says, "Look at his little spots and his little tufted ears."
I know.
It's so cute.
And he comes back and his suit is ripped to shreds, and he's like, "You've got to put something in there. Like, you got to give him like a tire swing or some branches or something." And then I'm in my like containment, and I'm like, "I'm so bored." And he's like, "Yeah, like like Babu. Now you know what Babu feels like."
Yeah, when they show little tiny Babu in this gigantic like ballroom with nothing, it's so sad.
I know. It's so sad.
And that's so exactly, unfortunately, what I feel like very rich people do with animals. They're just like, I want this exotic thing, and I don't know what to do with it, so I just put it in this ballroom.
I met a woman once who, I hope she doesn't still, but at the time she owned 2 white tigers, and they lived deep in the valley somewhere scary. And I was like, "So do you go visit them?" And she's like, "Well, when I want to see them, I have them brought to the house, and they come in the backyard and they hang out back there and play with each other, and I can touch them and stuff, and then they go back to like where they really live." I mean, my mouth is open when she was telling me this at a dinner party too. I was like,
oh my God.
I mean, people do this.
Yeah. Was she just like an eccentric rich person, or was she an actor?
Yeah, she was an eccentric rich person. Like,
wow.
With an accent.
Wow. That is a lot.
I just like thinking about that. Yeah.
There's a wildlife sanctuary here near Atlanta in Stone Mountain that I like to go to. And many of the things that are there are people that bought them as pets. And then either the state was like, you can't have this.
I know.
Or they did something dumb like, I'm going to start animal therapy. And I bought 2 sloths. And then they don't realize that it's a 24-hour job to take care of these animals.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's terrible.
Yeah,
Um,
there was a fire in a apartment building in Gary, Indiana once. I remember reading about it in the news, and like the firefighters were like, they came to the scene, and the owner of the building's like, "Is there any people or pets inside?" And they're like, "Yeah, there's a tiger in the basement in a cage and a boa constrictor, and there was like one other exotic animal down there." And the fire is like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, I have a gym down there. It's like a private gym, and it like helps like get the weightlifters like fired up to see like a
oh
tiger." I'm
my
like,
God.
Was the
"There's
firefighter Pee Wee Herman? And
Oh, this would actually be a great time to mention that Judy and I get to spend so much more time together outside of Archer because we're both on the board of
oh
directors
yeah,
of Project Chimps, which is a chimpanzee sanctuary in North Georgia. That's why, we're both such animal
yes,
people that we would never do anything like that to
yeah."
Babu.
No, no, we would never leave him in the great hall of a mansion, probably on the Upper East Side.
do you
Never.
remember also there was an episode where we were on Cheryl's personal train, and Babu also
Yes,
had his own
yes,
train car that
yes.
was Stark, just like his room.
I know, I
So
remember that.
sad. Oh, it's so sad. And then we also find out that Cheryl has decided not to go to her parents' funeral, like that
Oh
just
my God.
died.
I forgot about that until I watched it this morning, and she was like, "You said I couldn't be late again." Like, and then it reminded me that at the time when I read it and recorded it, that I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. That she didn't go to her parents' funeral. She's like, "What? You said I couldn't be later. I get fired." Oh,
We
she's
also
so
hear about
crazy.
your brother, but how long is it before we actually see your brother in an episode? Like many seasons later, right? Is that right, Casey?
Yeah. Is it on a yacht?
Well, he has the Sea Tunt, which
Yes.
is the name of his boat. Uh, I think that's also maybe season 6. And I can confirm that it is. Hold on. Sorry.
I'm looking at my notes. I'm just saying,
Oh, the
oh
fourth
God.
season. Fourth season.
Oh, okay. So a
And it
couple
was
seasons
like, oh,
later.
because that
Yeah.
was the Sea Lab episode. It was like a 2-parter.
Oh,
Yes.
right.
C
Yeah.
Lab episodes were so huge with the C Lab fans. Like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was like a really cool thing. I was also looking at, I wrote down Meowsevich that Archer calls
Oh,
baboos.
Meow Switch. Wait.
Meow Switch. Yeah, it's like Meow Switch in there.
So
That was
terrible.
funny. That was funny.
Um,
Oh,
we also get when Pam has been detained by
oh my
these bad
God.
guys. We get some really great lines from her
Oh
too that
God.
become
Your
pretty
husband
regulars.
teach you how to throw a punch. So
Yes,
good.
so good. And you better just fucking kill me was another
Yeah,
great one.
yeah. Did your dad give you a roll of nickels or something? You should like, which I didn't understand, but I laughed at.
It's so funny because if you have a roll of nickels in your fist when you punch somebody, it
Oh,
hurts a lot more.
oh, that's why you're like, get your dad to give you a roll of nickels or something. Yeah,
Hmm
I was like, I don't know why that's funny, but I'm laughing at it, but it's funny. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember my dad. This is going to be some insight into how I was raised. My dad had given me a truck for a while that had a bad starter. And so sometimes you'd have to get out and open the hood and hit the starter with something, and then the car would start. So he made this stick that was like a broomstick that had a bunch of washers stacked up on the end that was taped onto it. So it was like this club. And he was like, you can also use this if you need to beat anybody up. I was like, thanks, Dad.
My dad made me, he sent me, I told him the car I got, this is when I first moved to LA, and I got like a Explorer Sport, and he sent me a tire pressure gauge that he had researched the tire pressure that should be like, and he put this little red tape in the highest and the
So
lowest that it
cute.
could be so that when I filled up my car tires with air that I
Mm-hmm.
made sure to get the stick within those 2 red tape marks.
That is the cutest, most dad thing I've ever heard. I love
Engineer
that.
dad. Yes.
Like still today, when I go to put air in my tires, I'm like, I have no idea how much. I have to call my dad.
Oh, I just won't do it because I will always be convinced my tire's going to blow up in my face, which has never happened to anyone I know. So I don't know why I would think that would happen to me, but I'm a pretty old person now, and I would really like that tire pressure gauge. I'd like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm really afraid to light any kind of propane something because I'm afraid it's going to blow
Fuck
my head
yeah,
off.
it might. We're so tired right now, like so deeply fatigued. I am convinced we have a gas leak in the house,
Oh
but I have one
no!
of those carbon monoxide detectors and it doesn't go off. But we did disable some kind of detector, but I looked up which one the night where it's just
Radon.
what, and we were just like, I'm like, if you don't turn it off, I'm leaving you. Like the beeping. Poor husband.
Oh
But
boy!
it's not the carbon monoxide. Okay, I was just looking back to the episode. Sorry, I was like looking at things. I wrote like what I LOL'd at. I was LOLing at the turtleneck argument because Archer's such a fucking child. He's like, you can't wear it. Can't wear it. And then he's like, won't take off his turtleneck when he's on the phone with his mom. And oh my god, that's really funny. That made me laugh out loud so hard.
Yeah, and she
And
said they
like,
were arguing about who is the
who's
prettiest.
prettiest? Oh my god! And then his phone rings, and I forget what his ringtone was. But I
Yeah,
was
what
like,
was it?
I
I
know
wrote
what
it
it
down.
was
What is
because
it?
I wrote it
you had to
and
buy
sang
the
it.
song.
No, I wrote it and sang it.
Shut up!
Yeah, well, somebody did the music, but it's called Mulatto Butts, and it's just a little rap
It sounds
song.
like a professional rap song.
Thank you. We have it's longer than that. Like there was an extended cut,
Wow.
but and I remember wanting to put a full version out, and I asked Parnell if he would rap on it, and he's like, I don't think I'm good at audio only raps. My rap is really supposed to
Oh,
be performed in front of. Yeah, he politely declined. Is what he did. So you sure you don't want to sing on a song called Mulatto Butts? Like,
So that was a Floyd
no.
County original.
yeah,
Wow.
I was like, wait, I know that song. What song is that? Now I'm like, no, I didn't. You guys just like, did you try to get the rights to several songs and they were stupid? No, you were
no.
just like, I'm doing it.
It was written in the script that his cell phone ringtone is called Mulatto Butts, and then we worked on it. And then later in the series, Krieger once had a ringtone that went off, and his ringtone was Teutonic Butts.
That's
So
funny.
it was a theme.
Yeah.
Were there any more butts ringtones in the series?
I don't think so, but I think the ringtone joke goes back to Frisky Dingo because we had a ringtone called Cat Party, and it just went Cat Party, meow, meow. It was like techno, and then also there was one called Dog Party, but it wasn't as cute as Cat Party.
Understandable.
Are these ringtones available for purchase?
I don't think so. I
Oh,
don't think so.
be
That's
really
too bad.
cool if they were. I know.
I wrote down, is Suds and Duds based on
Oh
a
yeah,
real laundromat that exists that has a bar in it? Because it should be. Do you
yeah.
know?
I don't know. I mean,
Okay.
it does seem like something that would exist in New York City.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm shocked that like the laundromat bar isn't more of a thing.
Totally. Because I always thought if a laundromat also had a nail salon in it, that'd be great for me.
Ooh, yeah,
It should
for
also have
sure.
something else because you're just sitting around waiting. You need something else to do, like drinking or getting your nails done.
If Suds
Yeah.
and Duds was the bar, what would the nail salon name be?
Mm,
Nails and tails.
Ooh.
Good.
Nails,
Because that's
that's
where
a
you
strip
put
club.
your tuxedos, is in a washing machine.
You know, it would be great to be able to get my nails done while I'm at a strip club, actually, now that because then I could like watch the routine,
Yeah.
but have my nails be getting done.
Wow. These are some million
How are you
dollar
gonna
ideas.
tip though?
Shark Tank. I'll just have my
Oh.
stack of ones and like one for her and one for
Mhm.
you. You're doing great. For her, one for you. Ooh, the person doing my nails could also be like in something nutty.
Yep. Or topless.
Topless. Yikers.
Another thing I wrote down that I thought was so sad was when Mallory finally decides that it's $5,000 that Pam is
Oh my
worth.
God. And like your performance was actually very moving. Like
Oh, thank you.
I was very impressed with the acting in that episode by you because you were like so hurt and angry when everyone's dead and then they all just kept shooting and you were right there. And like I felt like I really felt emotion and I forget about that sometimes with our show. Like I felt
Yeah.
like actual emotion and anger and I was like, "Oh my God," which is probably what led me to think like, "Wait, did she punch Mallory in an episode?" Like I don't remember that, but I was like, "I think she's going to."
Hmm.
And I was like, Amber's really good in that. That was like a really
Thanks.
good scene.
Yeah, I think that's why, I forget about that too. And I talked about this on the episode with Aisha, but we get away with so much because the show's smart, but we also get away with so much because there's some like great feeling in there too. Like
Yeah.
it's well balanced. So it's not just like joke, joke, joke all the time. There's something
Right.
to compare it to. Yeah.
Yeah, that moment
Yeah.
was like really real.
Yeah, I don't remember the day that I recorded that episode, but I do remember like because we had characters that weren't the main characters. When we got something really meaty like that, it was always like
Yeah.
an exciting recording day. So I'm sure that I was like pretty stoked to record that and probably fucked it up the first few times because I was nervous and then got it right after a few.
I mean, I think Casey and Matt have some kind of like secret. They know whose takes are like, they know which takes of all of us they always probably use. Don't you,
Hmm.
Casey? Do you, Christian?
It was always selected. Like it was. I mean, takes were debated sometimes too. So.
Yeah, and sometimes when you're recording, when you're doing it, you'll think something is the best take and you'll mark it or something, but then later on, once it's all put together, it might not be the best read.
I would
But
always put the funniest ones in, and they'd be like, "No, bring it down a
yeah,
little bit."
but you remember so many of these early episodes were only done over the phone. Um,
Right.
so you were in the booth, but we were just on a phone patch. So we weren't like video chatting or anything. We couldn't
Huh?
see you. Yeah, that's how the early ones were done. So
Wow.
so a lot you could never see us. So like we would be writing down, or if you did a good take, we would like hold up one
Mm.
finger, and I knew to mark that one or whatever. So yeah,
Yeah, it was also fun to like get like I would get a call that Archer needs to book record and they need an hour and I'd be like, "Ooh, I've got a juicy episode." Because I would never read my episode until the night before and I could always tell it's like they're gonna book a half hour, they probably think they'll need 15 minutes and I'm like, "Copy that." Okay. And then I'm like, "They're booking you for an hour on Thursday." I'd be like, "What's up?"
Sweet.
Fucking some shit up this episode. Yeah.
I also wrote down the joke that Cheryl says, "The IRS, Jesus, how many Irish gangs are there?"
Oh my God. I know. I know. What did she also like the IR? Yes, that was so funny. Cyril's whole thing was so funny. My LOL was when he's like saying like I was having phone sex and I masturbated to it and the funny thing is that like he would normally be so embarrassed about that, but because he was trying to cover up the other thing, he was just like, yes, it was phone sex. It was definitely phone sex, and I'm done with my phone sex. And then Archer has a line where he's like, oh, is like internet porn gonna get jealous? God. Is this after Aisha and Cyril are a couple?
They've already broken up at this point, I think.
Yeah,
Is that
yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think so. I think they break up pretty early.
I couldn't
Because
remember.
yeah, I don't remember, but we were talking a lot about Cyril as well, where this is the episode, I guess, where the idea of him being a chronic masturbator is just given to him, and then either Adam liked it so much or just thought like, yeah, that fits his character, that became part of Cyril's personality. Like, he didn't have that before this episode.
Oh, I love that.
So great.
Because you talked about the elevator episode. In the end of that episode,
He's drinking
fully
it.
naked, jacking off.
Right. Oh my god. Oh. Oh my
A
God.
my friend of mine bought this house, like a fancy house, and he had this decorator, and the decorator bought him this table in his dining room that is made of like it's like this massive table, and it's made of like one piece of wood. So another thing that I loved in this episode, I was laughing so hard when Mallory's like, it's all one piece of wood made by these pygmies, and it was so fucking funny because I need to send this episode to my friend because I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? And he's like, yes, I know. It's so stupid. It was a mistake. But I was laughing during the episode thinking of my friend. Like, I actually know a table like this that was like so dumb. And he is like such buyer's remorse. That
I know a table like this.
I know a table like this. And I was laughing because at the time when we made this episode, I did not know a table like this. And yes, and Mallory like with her feet up being like, yes. And Ray just like having issues with the butt. I mean, like it'll take 2 minutes to detect his whereabouts. Like, I thought it was 30 seconds. Well, I mean, that whole thing, and they don't have the money because she bought the table, and
It's just so good.
I know. I mean,
It's so
every
good.
little thing. Even when, like, Cyril's, like, looks at a gun and shoots it and then shoots the guy. And, like, every time you cut back to him, you can watch the blood, like, slowly steeping every time you cut back to him. And he's getting, like, grayer and grayer. And then you hear his voice on the phone with Gillette. He's like, so cold.
And they're just yelling at him for not doing his job.
Yeah. Pick up the phone! Oh my god!
That's Brett, who's played by Archer art director Neil Holman.
It's also he's the model for it too,
He's
right?
the model for. Kind of, I guess.
Okay, yeah.
But
that's so funny.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that Brett getting shot gag is all the way in the pilot episode. Like when Archer shoots at the mainframe door. You hear somebody go, God damn it, Archer! And that was Neil back then.
Wow. That's so great. Okay, Judy, before we end this episode, we like to do some trivia with Casey. But I want to let you know that going into this round of trivia, you already have 78 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome.
You've been getting them throughout the episode. I've been tallying up all your points.
I didn't even know I was playing a game.
That's the best way we found.
Yeah.
People are self-conscious that way.
Fair.
There are several references to the Andy Griffith Show in this episode. You talked about Cyril with the gun. Every time it goes off, Lana says, "Safety's off, barn," which is a reference to Andy Griffith Show. What was the name of the fictional town on the Andy Griffith Show?
Am I supposed to answer this?
Yes.
You totally know this.
I do?
Mm-hmm.
ISIS. No. The fictional town. Oh, my husband's going to be so mad at me. I don't know. How do you know I know this?
I don't. It's just
Amber's just said you totally know this.
I feel like as soon as we tell you, you'll be like, of course. I
Oh.
think Americans are born knowing the name of this town.
Slater Kinney. No. Has anyone else mentioned Slater Kinney on your podcast?
No, you're the first.
Is that a point? Okay, sorry.
Do you want to give her a
No.
hint, Casey? Is there a hint?
Pleasantville.
It is the name of a month and the name of a fruit put together.
Gin banana.
It's Mayberry.
Oh
Mayberry.
my god!
Okay, bonus point. Do you know who played?
June Banana is such a good character name for someone.
Banana is a great idea.
Do you know who played Barney Fife on that show?
The guy from Three's Company.
That's correct. He also played Mr. Furley, but do you remember his name?
Mr. Furley. No.
It's Don Knotts. That was a bonus question.
Yes!
Yeah.
I used to do an impression of him. Okay.
Oh, that's pretty good. Oh, that's pretty good too. Cheryl has an ocelot named Babu. There's also another famous person in history who had an ocelot named Babu. Do you remember who that is?
Whoa,
Was
that's
it
a hard one.
one of the queens of England?
It's not. It's a famous artist.
Was it Basquiat?
Little earlier.
Oh. Monet?
Little later.
Picasso?
That's a hard one.
Oh, it's Salvador Dali.
Oh.
This makes so much sense to me.
Yep.
Oh.
Really long legs.
Mm.
And he had a melting watch on his back. All right, last one.
Thank God.
So the tattoo that Pam has on her back
Yes.
is a stanza from a Lord Byron poem, "The Destruction of Sennacherib." I probably butchered that. So Lord Byron had one child from marriage. He had a couple out of marriage.
Okay, I won't tell
Who
anyone.
is also a famous person in history. Do you know who that person is? Who is Lord Byron's offspring?
What year is this?
And I'll give you a hint.
Okay, good.
Along with Charles Babbage, she's one of the founding figures in computer programming.
What a great hint.
Again. Yeah. Ursula Le Guin or Taraji Henson or computer pro. What, are you fucking high right now? I don't know anything.
It's Ada Lovelace.
Wow. Wow.
Babbage and Lovelace doesn't ring a bell.
No.
I'm
Okay.
an actor. I don't know things like that.
Okay, Judy, after that round of questions, you have 57 points.
I got deductions?
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
But 57's still pretty good.
I doubt it. I think you're just saying that. What did Chris Parnell get? Like 1,000?
No, I think he did pretty poorly as well.
Except for the first question was about
Yeah, what were Parnell's questions?
the first question was who had a hit with the song Orinoco Flow before I could get it out.
Enya!
Why does everybody know this one?
Computer programmers?
That's the kind of shit they teach in acting school, Casey.
Oh fuck!
It's on one of my acting playlists. Also, when Dean is not home, I will play a Pandora Enya mix, and it is very, very soothing.
I love that.
Let me sail, let the Orinoco flow.
Yeah. Chris said it was one of his college albums that he played a lot. And it's the cutest thing, isn't it?
It is so cute.
Yeah, it's an emotional record. I'm not gonna lie. I might have to listen to it when we're done here. It's a really good one. And yeah, I mean that one, a Natalie Merchant, the 10,000 Maniacs record. We just not recently, but we bought the Edie Brickell record that was also really good.
Yeah.
So one of my favorites is, and I just learned that the title of it is a pun, and I never knew it. It's the Sundays Reading Writing and Arithmetic. I did not know that's how you're supposed to pronounce that, but that's one of my most favorite albums of all time.
I loved the Sundays. Reading is a place.
Yeah, in England, and that's why it was
But isn't there also a Reading in America?
In Pennsylvania, I believe.
Thank you, Christian.
And on a Monopoly board too, there's Reading Railroad.
Yeah.
I thought it was Reading Railroad.
It's Reading Rainbow.
No, it's Reading Rainbow. And Judy, is there anything that you want to promote? We don't have any followers yet, but we will hopefully by the time this episode comes out.
I'm looking at my list to see if I forgot anything about by promoting. Well, when's our episode coming out?
Well, I'm not sure, but probably sometime in May or June.
Fun. Well, I have a movie that came out just this weekend that is called Eric LaRue.
Fun.
That is probably available on streaming.
Okay.
And then I forget when it's coming out, but I'm promoting also a TV show I have coming out on Apple with Owen Wilson called Stick.
Fun.
And was the Eric LaRue movie, was that Michael Shannon's directorial debut?
Yes, it was Mr. Michael Shannon's directorial debut. I really regret that we never could have him do an episode of Archer.
That would have been awesome.
When the fans revolt and we get to come back, then we can have him on.
Maybe we'll have him score it as the REM tribute band that he's in. That would be freaking sweet.
Yeah, that'd be super cool. Yes, those two things I would promote for sure.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing this. It was so much fun to talk to you today.
I know, it was really fun. I'm so happy you're doing this because I loved our show so much. And it was funny when we found out that we were canceled. I was just stricken, and I was just shocked in disbelief. And my husband was like, it was on for 14 years. And I was like, how could they do this? How? Why? And he's like, babe, it sucks, but 14 years. I'm like,
yeah.
So I am always so proud of that. But yes, then I'm also just really missing my friends and all the fun shit we used to get in trouble doing.
This has been Rephrasing, an Archer Rewatch podcast. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at rephrasingpod. Email us questions at rephrasingpod@gmail.com. Please, no pictures of your penis. That's just inviting pictures of their penis, isn't it? Rephrasing is produced by Amber Nash, Casey Willis, and Christian Danley. Our theme song is by Matt Hobbs. I'd like to say a special thank you to Raymond Carr, Jasmine Nash, and Jonathan Strickland. And don't forget, FX's Archer is now streaming on Hulu.